Good morning to the DMV and the rest of the world. This is your girl, Reese, aka the best that ever did it, aka Althea McFarland, aka AM Morning, aka yada yada yada. You guys know the rest. Okay. Whew. Today is November the 14th. Good Monday morning. I am back, and yes, I'm here with my lovely, beautiful host, Miss Bernice Smith. Morning, Bernice.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, sis. I'm hanging in there.
You got a little glow with you this morning, so I assume you feeling better.
I'm getting better. I got up and did a little exercise for my shoulder. Just warm up that I remember when I was in physical therapy before. And for all of you guys that don't know, I was in a car accident Friday morning. That's why we couldn't come on the air Friday morning, and we didn't do the show because like an hour before the show was supposed to come on, um, we were in an accident. Thank God that all passengers in the vehicle came away unscathed. We were just a little shaken up, but my car I think is hurting. So, but any accident that you can walk away from,
It's
not
a
have to
blessing.
be ambulance or medevac, thank God. So,
That's a blessing, indeed.
yeah, I can get another car. Which, by the way, I'm in the market of getting another vehicle. So, if you guys know anybody out there that has a vehicle for sale, around in the tune, uh, I don't know, it's negotiable. Call me. I'm a vehicle. I'm just not trying to get no car note at all.
You can
So
negotiate.
yeah, negotiate. That's right. Negotiate. So it's on the lower level Negro end of, so the negotiate,
Or
got that in there. But we are here with Molly Mall. Are you in the studio? He always in the studio, but he's so busy working. Molly, can you say hi to the people? Or you working? If he don't say nothing, that mean he working.
that's
He working.
right. But no, he's in the background somewhere.
He's in the background lurking. He's stalking us, making sure everything is a-okay, good to go. Today's topic is a good one. Is a good one. But before we dive in with today's topic, I want to get this right off the top. Bernice, tell them what Saturday is. Every day this week, y'all gonna hear her saying this. I'm gonna be pushing her. Tell them what Saturday is, sis. Tell them what Saturday. So I want to make sure we get this at the top of the hour and it close another hour, so nobody
Well,
miss out on what we got going on Saturday.
right. So Saturday we've been talking about the event. It's a light for Rome will be this Saturday. So be
Yay!
house. We're going to be having an open and candid conversation about mental health. Again, we'll have a panel. You'll be able to ask questions. We have two speakers, which is myself and Miss A.M. Morning. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have some food and some information you can obtain. There will be a therapist on site in case you need it at that moment. So we ask you to come out and just have an open mind because you may be able to help somebody or we may be able to help you. So come on out.
That's right. Tell them the location, sis.
Jesus, girl, that's where is it? I'm looking at it. Oh, it's the Thurgood Marshall Center located at I think there's 1816 12th Street Northwest.
Okay.
1816 12th Street Northwest. It's the Thurgood Marshall Center.
Okay. And it's from 2 to 6, right?
6 p.m.
Okay, y'all. I come on out and support, love, and share. This is a movement with love, not only mental health awareness, but love. We're moving in the spirit of love. So
Yeah.
don't come out with no drama, no negativity, only good vibes only. Leave that other stuff at the door. Okay, y'all? Y'all
That's
feel
right.
me? All righty. So going with today's show, right?
Right.
I was looking for a feel good story for today, but I noticed that when I turn on the news, everything is just so sad, and it's just so, disheartening when we talk and we hear about stuff. But I came across a story. It's sad, and at the same time, I can't say this is a happy ending, but this was the closest I found to a feel good story. It's about the pardon of the Martinsville Seven.
Hmm.
Now, it's a blessing that they got a pardon, but it came 70 years later. And
70 years too late. It's too late now. That man can't hear that. That's
but Governor Northam is pardoning them. Now, Governor Northam, now why is he saying sorry for what Virginia did or what his ancestors, whoever did? His 70 years later. Y'all just watch the story. Uh, we could go ahead and roll the clip, and then we're going to take questions. But it's really, y'all just watch this, y'all. It's right here in our own backyard.
This past weekend, we observed the anniversary of Emmett Till's death in 1955. The 14-year-old brutally murdered for allegedly flirting with a white woman outside a Mississippi store, beaten beyond recognition, an eye gouged out, shot in the back of the head, and tied to a cotton gin. His body was found floating down the Tallahatchie River. That was the fate of the 14-year-old. No due process, no system of justice to confirm the allegations against him. A gut-wrenching example of the virtually legal lynchings which took place across the South before and during Jim Crow. Today, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam issued posthumous pardons to the Martinsville Seven nearly 7 years after their unjust execution. The men were executed in 1951 for allegedly raping a white woman. The jury that convicted them were all white, and each was convicted and sentenced in a span of 8 days. In his statement, Northam concluded that the death penalty for rape was applied almost exclusively to Black men, saying these men were executed because they were Black, and that's not right. The case is an example of the racial disparities in death penalty. Not only is it true that in Virginia, but throughout the country, according to the ACLU, a defendant is more than 3 times as likely to be sentenced to death if the victim of a crime is white.
wow.
Blacks are also 7 times more likely to be wrongly convicted of murder, says the National Registry of Exonerations. Events surrounding the arrest and execution of the Martinsville Seven draw several similarities to other tragic cases involving young Black men. The Central Park Five, the Groveland Four, even the murder of George Floyd at the hands of Minnesota police. Lack of due process and unjust use of lethal force against Black men has been a theme in America for generations. In March of this year, Governor Northam signed legislation that ends the state's death penalty, a state that has the nation's second highest number of executions. The unfortunate outcome of the Martinsville Seven was cited during debate on legislation to end Virginia's death penalty. It was one example of how the punishment was used disproportionately against African Americans. So today we remember the Martinsville Seven, and that is for the culture. Thank you for watching Prime, and good night.
So y'all get the what's going on about the Martinsville Seven. Molly, roll the other one too. They go in more depth about exactly what it is, because I want the people to understand these 7 beautiful men, how their life was taken away from them. It was executed, and then 70 years later, their family is saying they're getting a pardon from Virginia. Saying, "Oh, sorry, pardon me."
Wow. Just
And
wow.
So this is a story that I did not know existed until yesterday. Let's talk about the dark legal history of the state of Virginia and the Martinsville Seven. On January 8th, 1949, a 32-year-old white woman named Ruby Stroud Floyd entered a Black neighborhood in Martinsville, Virginia. She was in the neighborhood to collect money for some clothes she had sold, but that's not important. By her account, she was going into the neighborhood and past railroad tracks. On those railroad tracks, she passed 4 black men. She says that when she got into the neighborhood, she was later assaulted by 13 black men, including the 4 men she had passed earlier. Word spread and the police quickly arrested 6 men, and by the morning, those 6 men had already signed confessions, implicating themselves and each other. All 6 men admitted to being present at the scene of the crime. A 7th member was also brought in and convicted. All 7 men were quickly indicted and the legal proceedings were very quick. The police state that this was because they didn't want the men to be succumbed to mob violence, because as you can imagine, every white person in the surrounding areas wanted their heads. And here are the names and the ages of all 7 men. As you can notice, all of them were extremely young, except for Francis Grayson, who was 38. The 7 men, for some reason, were giving 7 different attorneys, and all the attorneys had different skill levels. And guess what? All 7 trials had 7 juries that were made up of all white men. During each of the trials, all of the defendants partially rejected the confessions that they made. In some instances, they said the police had written the confessions themselves. Sounds familiar. No trial lasted more than a day, no jury deliberation lasted more than 2 hours, and when it was all said and done, all 7 men were convicted and sentenced to death by electrocution. The appeals process was long and lengthy. Many civil rights organizations, including the NAACP, got involved, but no one wanted to hear it. The Supreme Court denied on 2 occasions to hear this case and attempt to overturn it. There was no fair trial. There was no fair due process for any of these men. They were coerced. People started to point out the disproportionate proceedings of Virginia state's legal history. From 1908 to 1951, all 45 men put to death for sexual assaults were black men. The severity of punishment served to white men were cut in half. The appeals process by the NAACP did not work, and all 7 men were executed between February 2nd and February 5th, 1951. The reason I'm telling this story is because this week, the governor of Virginia pardoned the Martinsville 7, saying that the executions handed down were racially biased. 70 years later, before he was executed, one of the Martinsville 7 was quoted saying, "God knows I didn't touch that woman, but I'll see y'all on the other side."
That makes me want to cry and want to cry out. My heart pours because they finally got vindicated, but it's 70 years after they was put to death. What good is a pardon that comes 70 years later, y'all? And we see this stuff time and time again. And my question is, how do we move on as a culture, as society, when every turn of the road, stuff like this has happened, has always happened, and will continue to happen? What can we do to make a change? How can we stop this from happening? I just don't know. But all I know is if you say certain words or signal out certain people or a culture, you get dealt with the quickness. But when you talk about black people and Negroes, nothing happens. Nothing comes to pass. Still dealing with the same stuff. Now, just imagine if they still had the death penalty or some of these barbaric and heinous ways of punishment. Who would be the majority of receiving that punishment? I don't think it would be much difference from back then to now, because I still see the majority of our people getting sent up the river, railroaded. And even now with technology and DNA and all of that stuff, a lot of people getting sent up and set up for crimes they didn't do.
Yeah.
But you got a pardon 70 years later.
Too late.
How does that make you feel, Bernice?
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted because these men, that 70 years later, their lives are gone. Their lives are gone. And more than likely, a lot of the people who were present at that time are probably dead. Too late for them to hear your apologies. Like I said, if it was me and I was a remaining relative, I'd sue them so hard their grandchildren will owe me money for that 70 years. I mean, the money's not going to make it better, like I said, but in the same token, that apology, that pardon means nothing. It holds no weight whatsoever. None. So I don't understand what was even the purpose of it.
That's what I want to know. If you're not going to give the family some type of reparation or some type of uh, something from that, sorry, you can keep your sorry. It's a little too late,
Right.
it's like pouring salt in the wound, because here you are saying sorry, we killed the wrong people, or sorry, we killed your loved ones, but hey, all's forgiven, all's well with the world. Is it?
No, it's not. I would love to hear the family respond to this. I mean, I would love to hear exactly what was on their minds, because it had it been me, I can't imagine what I would say. You done took my loved one,
Well,
took
the
their
nephew was on the news during that time, and they're like doing a celebration. Well, because they partner with people that want after Northam, Governor Northam, to get the pardon. In the first place, there's this group, this organization, for them to pardon, or whatever heinous things that's in our history, especially in Virginia, so close. And I saw some of the interview with one of the great nephews of two of the guys.
Mhm.
Um, this one man lost an uncle and a great uncle. So, he was saying that the family experienced great loss and all of that, but he didn't say that if they were getting any monetary uh kickbacks or anything from what happened. But I can only imagine that. But like that was 70 years ago. So this is another total generation that of it was passed down in the family. Probably don't know nothing about the story, because, like you said, 70 years later, everybody's dead. The
Right.
accusers, the people that it happened to, is it just like for a footnote in history? Is it used for that, to say, oh, we did a awful wrong, we wronged y'all, sorry?
But what are you going to do about it? Because that mistake is still being made today. And fortunately, some of the men, I've seen several cases, because I'm always on YouTube watching stuff, but I've seen several cases where there have been several black men who go in at like the age of, they be young, 17, and they don't get out till they 53. You done took the majority of their life from them. Apologies don't hold weight here. I'm sorry. There has to be something done about it, because your apologies, they suck. They mean nothing. They hold no weight. There's no purpose of them. What are you going to do to make it better for the next black man? When somebody cries wolf, because I read a story on this young black guy who was dating this Caucasian female, and she got mad at him and went and told her parents that he raped. They sent this boy to jail, and later on she admits that she lied. Lock her ass up. I'm sorry. Make her suffer what you made this man suffer. He lost everything. He had a scholarship. I believe he was going to the NBA. Lock her up. Make her suffer the same thing she made that man suffer. He lost everything. It's time out for that mess. Your apologies mean nothing to us. Put some actions towards us, instead of handing us that sorry, sappy sorry. I'm sorry. No, it's inexcusable. And I don't see it. I don't see the point of it. It's still the same thing is still happening today. Make
And
a change.
and
That's your apology.
on the other spectrum, what happened to our women of color who get raped and heinously raped, and all that stuff that happens to us, when it's the Caucasians that did it 70 years ago? Caucasians was raping people like Reese Taylor, but these people are still out that did her crime. the people was not found. Not only was they not found guilty, they didn't go to jail. And now they're saying, okay, the people are too old now. Just like you're pardoning people, stick their butt in the jail for the rest of their life for their stuff that they did. The pardon is only like a slap in the face. It only works in one way, because just like you're saying, oh, forgive these boys for what they did. Oh, too late, they're dead. But what about the people that hurt our black women? We just talking about the black men that got charged with crimes they didn't do. What about the black women who experienced crimes against us? I mean, against them, us as the people, but they're the people that committed the perpetrators, the people that's committed those crimes against the black woman are still out there walking and allowed to be amongst the free.
Well, the thing about
they did it, and they still out there.
Yeah, but they have no respect for us. They never have. But you think they're going after somebody who raped a black woman when basically they refuse to look for black missing women? They refuse. Do you notice that in the news, if a Caucasian woman goes missing, they on it? But how many black women do you see in the news when they go missing? And I was researching that the other day too, how the social media does not put our stories out there like they put the white women's stories out there.
Right.
They have no respect. We don't hold any value with them.
Like, this is apples to oranges, but that little 13-year-old boy who lost his life just by raking the leaves, his killer is still at large. But there was this man that shot a puppy or was shooting dogs. They caught his butt. So it's like there is more search of a man. Peter got more pull than they do for us, for black people lives. You heard a dog or animal, oh, they on you. You getting found, you getting dealt with. But you take a young, innocent life, like that little 13-year-old black boy. I saw that and I just cried because he was raking the leaves. Somebody came by, shot him, killed him. They don't know who did it. They say they don't know. There was no rhyme, no cause, no reason, no nothing.
So why don't they go through the cameras and stuff like they do? Put, who knows what? Ain't nobody on that street have a camera in their house? I'm sorry.
Ring cameras or whatever. That I don't know. They're not going to tell us that, but I just don't feel that there's a bigger presence or push behind his senseless, untimely murder than it is. They felt the more urgency to find the person who shot the puppies or who shot the dogs. I'm sorry. Woo, but it seemed like that's the story of a black man.
That's the story of black people. They don't put the same effort into us as they do into white people. That's just it's so sad that they don't. But that's why we need our own. We need our own news stations. We need our own everything. We need everything. We need our own because we have to take care of us, because they've proven from back in slavery time to right now today, when our black people die, that it's simple. They don't care. They do the bare minimum to take care of us, to find us, to protect us. And then most of the police, I mean, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of the police are against us. We got KKK in the police department. Come on, man.
That's how it always been, and that's how they dispersed today. And that was so they can protect the towns and all that stuff. So of course they went into law enforcement. They was enforcing the stuff with the sheet over their head. So now they go in law enforcement and they don't have to wear the sheet. All they need is a badge. That the sheet, shield, badge, same difference. But I also wanted to mention it's our government fault. It's how our government is set up. And I think back, and I was reflecting this morning about and listening to some news about Bush. I'm not Bush. Long gone Bush. I'm sorry. Biden, President Biden, over in Indonesia and they're talking about a 700 with an M behind it, $1 million transportation thing over there that he's getting in with Indonesia, and he's getting ready to meet with the head of China and all of that. You're sending millions of dollars with an M to the Ukraine. Now you're giving millions of dollars to all these other programs. Where is the million? That's 14 million by my account. Sorry, 700. That's 140 million by my account.
Oh,
No. That's, wait a minute, hold up. That is I don't know my math. What is 700? I mean 700 million and 700 million. Okay, is that 140,000 million? That's what it is. 100 and wait a minute. My mind, what, somebody help me get the right numbers. It's a lot of damn money. It's a lot of money. I know it's a bill. It's a billion. It's $1.4 billion. That's what it is. 1.4 billion. Anyway, would be billion with a B. $1.4 billion. Anyway, that money that they're siphoning off and sending to all these different other countries, couldn't that be used here? Couldn't that be used to house, feed, clothe, educate the people here in America, not just black people, but all the people in America? Couldn't we use that stuff over here? You know, but instead they're concentrating on other countries and foreign policies and all of that. They're neglecting the country. I mean, and this is the setup of our government. But you got people like Herschel Walker running for governor. I mean, for governor in down in Georgia, and it's so close. Him and Warnock shouldn't even be close. One is educated, and the other one seemed like they need a lot of help. and the one that seemed like they need a lot of help is got just as much as votes as the one that seemed like they would and with the times. I'm not gonna say which one is which, you know. So, and it's just too close. It's too funny to mention. It's start with our government and all everything here. And congratulations to Maryland doing the first big as far as on the black spectrum or the people of color spectrum. We got our first black governor ever in the history of Maryland. This is ever in the history of niggerdom. You got your first black governor of Maryland. And not forget Anthony Brown. That was our congressman. Hey, Congressman Anthony Brown. I got pictures of him too. I mean, am I clouting? Am I doing that clout? You know, because he helped us out, and I got a chance to, you know, talk and hobnob with Anthony Brown. Congratulations, Maryland General. Am I saying that right? He's a attorney general. I'm sorry. Did I say Maryland General? I meant to say Attorney General for Maryland. Okay, yeah, yes. Anthony Brown, congratulations. Congratulations to Westmore. Congratulations. Okay, now let's move it forward. Are they going to be the change that our people need? Are they going to be able to actually get in the fight and help our people a little bit more than what we've done in the past? That remains to be seen. So I hope they can get it in and do something. Good morning, Cassandra. Good morning, Ernest. Let's see what the people say about what we saw, Bernice. Do you see? I see Ernest. I see Cassandra. I see. Hey, Nene. I see Molly in the house. Are the people saying anything about what they seen?
Nope.
Y'all not commented on what y'all saying. How that make y'all feel?
Everybody said good morning.
Do y'all know what we talking about? Did we get into the news part too quick? We're talking about the Martinsville 7. Just getting y'all a little Black history fact, little known Black history stuff. Well, let me make a long story short. 70 plus years ago, A white lady claimed rape, of course, and but the 14 people allegedly, seven of them didn't do it. They got the seven people. They executed them. This is right there in Martin, Virginia. All seven got executed, and 70 years later, they're giving the family pardons. Like it's saying, "Oops, we found out that he didn't do it. They didn't do it, but they did now. So forgive us." They pardon. You gonna let somebody off the hook for a crime they didn't commit after you killed them, committed murder? They was all seven was electrocuted. Then you're gonna add a pardon 70 years later. Like I said, that's an insult to injury. Thank you for recognizing that my child didn't do it or that our ancestor didn't do it. But what good is that? Because you still took the man's life. You still took all seven of those innocent people lives. But hey, they got a part now. So I guess the family can go on with their lives now as if they wasn't already going on. What good? What my whole thing, what good is that pardon going to do? Not unless they're giving you dollars with them pardons. And they don't even want to give you reparation. They don't even want to give you a 40 ounce, 40 acres and a mule. They don't even want to give you 40 ounce. So not unless they're giving out something to go with that pardon, they keep their pardon. They, as 70 years later, it's coming 70 years later, and after the fact, and you done executed all seven of those young men. This happened, they got executed, the last got executed in 1951. Yeah.
My mama wasn't even thought about in 1951. So, it's crazy. My son just brought to my attention. It's a current case where in Louisville, Kentucky, an 8-year-old black girl was playing in her yard. A Caucasian male comes up, he rapes her, bites a chunk of her face out. He goes, they lock him up, but he's going to be released because they found him mentally unstable, so he can't stand trial. So they're going to release this man back into the public.
Louisville, Kentucky. Isn't there prisons for criminally insane?
He should be in either way. If he's mentally unstable, lock his ass up in a mental hospital until he die.
Because what's going to stop him for hurting another little innocent child?
She's playing in her yard, minding her business. But I guess in lamest terms, her life isn't worth anything to them because he's deemed mentally unstable. It's crazy because I think about all the cases that are coming out when the police are called to people's houses, and these people are mentally unstable, but they end up dead. And that's why I keep saying that the police department needs to have a team who are educated in mental health to go out, because the police don't know how to address someone who's mentally unstable, but yet and still they're out here killing them. There needs to be a emergency mental health team dispatched. The police are only backup and they only get to move when the team says you need to move. But other than that, I don't want to hear about somebody mentally unstable, so you're going to release them back to the streets. That's nothing but white privilege. Point blank, period. There's no other way to look around it.
You have to be careful what you say, Bernice. You don't want to get look what they did to poor Kyrie. So Kyrie Irving, you got to be careful what you say, how you talk now, girl. But woo is just something. It's something. It really is something. But this is America. And just us don't stand for just us. It should be just them, because that's all you get.
Everybody saying good morning. Well, it seems that my girlfriend has frozen up over there.
Yeah, it look
But she's
like
saying,
he frozen, man.
yeah.
Pop
But
out and come back in if you his, Reese. Leave out and come back in, all right?
yeah, that's crazy. Well, I understand she's saying I'm tired of being careful of what I say. I'm just my thing. I ain't going nowhere till it's my time, and I'm gonna speak the truth regardless. So it is what it is. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, she back. Hold on. We can hear you now, Reese. What you say?
I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
said today's show topic is about being pardoned. And it's about how 70 years later, a sorry is coming 70 years later after they already executed these men, and they're saying sorry to the families. My only question is, what good is the pardon to these families 70 years later? What comes along with, oops, my bad? Do they give them a bag with it? Here's $250,000, or here's $1,000,000. Here's when they give you these pardons, what's coming along with it? Oh, sorry, just us didn't do you any just us because it's for just us. Sorry, just us wasn't served because we got just us, but you didn't get just us. No, no, no. You know what? So what is that pardon doing? That's all I want to know. What good is the pardon? What is Cassandra saying? She said, Bernice, you're not famous. You could not punish you. You can speak your mind. They
Yeah.
might close the door before she get in there. They be like, "Who's that?" That's Bernice Smith. Don't answer the door. So we try to
Yeah.
elevate and get to the other side so we can um, be useful to our brothers and sisters in our fights and trying to get it to be just us instead of just them. So because you definitely not a part of the just us clan.
Yeah.
So it's just
The
them.
crazy part about that is, with all this stuff going on, we can't help our people being scared, and that's period. And I believe in God. He said He has not given me the spirit of fear, and I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be scared to say what the truth is because the truth is the truth. And I'm a tone it down because I'm on the morning Mac show. But when I get out there, I'm not being scared. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you something. You can take a lot of stuff from me. I've been so low, you know. Thank God that even if I get up there and you take it from me, I'm still gonna be blessed.
Right. What can we do? We all know what it is. It's not fair. It's not this. It's not that. Other than cry, bitch, and moan, what can we do as a people? How do we start the healing process? How do we start getting some of that power that was never given to us anyway? How do we start getting some of that?
They,
Any suggestions? Anybody out there in our listening audience?
they're
Anybody
not
out
gonna
there
give it.
that's viewing that or viewing this? We can't be totally helpless, are we? We got some heavy hitters in
Yeah, but
our
mm,
what was you saying, Bernice?
they're not gonna give us no power. That's something you got to take back your power. And we were talking about that story the other day. You was like, why people didn't help when the little boys, the 9-year-old and the 7-year-old, the kissing thing. Why people didn't help? People scared. You ain't gonna accomplish nothing scared. I'm sorry,
You
but
ain't got to be as scared now. You don't have to be as scared now. If people got money, but our black people back then, 70 years ago, didn't dream of money. We got a whole lot of these people and these organizations, a whole lot of rich, wealthy, black people had it back then. But is there enough of us that care? All I'm saying, if our government could find billions and millions and billions of dollars to go outside of the U.S.? Can we find a couple of dollars here in the U.S. to help each other, one another?
But when we understand they have the money, but they're not going to do it. They've proven to us time and time again. That's why our people of power are trying to teach us that we have to have our own banks, our own grocery stores, our own schools. So in order for that to happen, we all have to come together. It's enough of us out here. It's just a point of finding each other. So that's why we have to have a platform where we, the ones who care, can come together and we can meet and we can stand together and we can build something, because we have so much going on within us, within our Black family, that sometimes we don't pay attention to what the others need because we're in a selfish state of mind. We have to change our mindset. That's where it begins. If we don't change our mindsets, the same behaviors will continue and we will never accomplish anything, period.
Molly, you got anything to say or to add with this?
Nah, my boy E and them down here from Atlanta. That's why I ain't been on here with y'all. So I don't want all this that interrupt the show. But y'all having a great show, great topic. Mostly, what y'all talking about. We know it's been happening for a long time, and I had to wait 70 years to be pardoned. That's just a slap in the face. 7 people waiting to get pardoned after 70 years.
No, they're not waiting to get pardoned. Sorry, they died. They killed them all.
Exactly. I mean, they did though.
Yeah.
So it's like, why bring it up? It's just to cause confusion and more, attitude, energy in the Black community, because they ain't gonna do nothing but piss us off by knowing. It's like they could have kept this to themselves, like ain't nothing gonna change for this unless one of their families, because it's 7 different people, so it ain't like one person. If some of their family members still alive and they can, get some closure and get some type of money for this, then all right. But other than that, like, nah, they just pissing on the Black people to let us know they've been doing this and they will continue to do this.
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
Well, the same governor that gave them the pardon is also got a 53-page reform on how they want education to be taught in school, specifically your history. Okay, so you can't talk or teach about systemic racism, which all this stuff is. You can't talk or teach about what happened in the past, because they're changing our history. But he's getting ready to bring back the Pledge of Allegiance. They're going to wait till you get, I think, in the 11th grade to learn about slavery. Why are they waiting till you get into the 11th grade to teach them about slavery?
They don't want our children to know where they come from. That even though our people were slaves, they were still powerful. We had powerful people like Harriet Tubman who helped so many escape. Come on, man. That is their plan. They don't want our children educated. That's why, again, we need our own. We have to, what I don't know, it needs to be somebody in my circle who can teach my children. You know what I'm saying? It has to be we have to become family again, not because of our last name, but because of the color of our skin, because of our history. We have to become one. Until that happens, and don't get it twisted, I'm not racist, because there are a lot of white people who helped our people back then and are still helping our people now. So it's not.
Well, you're not rich. You got to look at the definition of racist. None of us are racist, because we're not controlling industries, factories, or any of that, or the infrastructure. No, so we couldn't be racist if we wanted to be, because that's that's when you look at the definition of what that means. So
we have
we need to be proud. We need to be getting our pride back again. Like, I was watching the episode of Good Times when Michael got suspended from school for saying that George Washington was a racist or a fascist. They like to use that word, fascist. Because he owned slaves, and they wanted, you telling our great father of America that you can't say that kind of stuff. They conditioned our minds back then, so we got to move away from that. Then we started learning, educating. Now they're trying to recondition your mind by putting you back under those same restraints that they had back in the 70s and back in the 60s and 50s, whatever, before we started teaching each one and learning. Segregation sometimes is good, don't get me wrong, because you learn stuff out of black schools that they didn't bother to teach you about yourself when you was integrated into the white schools. So that's why sometimes separate is better. In that case, we didn't want to be integrated with the our Caucasians, because the white people could keep on learning what they was learning. We wanted the better books. We wanted good desks. We wanted the equipment. We necessarily did not want the education because we had our own education system in place. We had our own curricula of what was taught, what you could teach. And it needs to go back to that. If need be, you need to learn about you. Each race need to learn about themselves. There's nothing racist about that, because we're not all made equally. The color of our skin determines that. But in that episode of Good Times, they wanted Michael to go back and say that he was sorry for telling the truth. They want Kyrie Irving to say he's sorry for telling the truth. If you're black, you cannot have an opinion. If you're black, you cannot feel a certain way. You're not entitled to that because you're black. But they would tell you how to feel, how to look, how to eat, all of that. All of that. And they trained us to say, these are the boxes that you're going to fit into in order to make it successful, to make it different. You got to be an athlete. You got to be a singer. You got to be some sort of entertainment, to get in these boxes to make these money, right? So when kids grow up, I want to be an athlete. I want to be this. I want to be that. It's always an athlete, singer, an entertainer, actress, some sort of coonery going on. You entertaining the masses in some type of way. If it's not sports, if it's not singing, if it's not acting, telling jokes, some sort of way. That's how they give you a chance to make the money. See, the white man let you fools make some money, but what we do, you fools give it all back by you going out there adorning yourself with their women, adorning yourself with all this flashy jewelry that you think make you look like that you got it, that you got to be. You ain't got to do all that. You going out there and adorn yourself with their clothes that they buy, that they make only for them, and the high marked end up. Why you want to wear a $10,000 shirt that ain't even they didn't even have you in mind when they made it? They didn't even want you wearing it. Why? I don't, but we go out there, we do, and we buy their bags, we buy that for the sake of, this is what society says. Who is society? It's them. It's the same people that get the just us. It's just them. It's them. So why do you want to be liked by your haters? Why do you want your haters to like you? That's all I want to know, people. Why you want your haters to like you? Bernice?
Yes.
You got anything to say about that? Why you want your haters to like you, Bernice?
I ain't worried about who don't like me. That's not my forte. Like if you don't like me, that's fine with me. I don't care. And one thing about me, I'm not into that what everybody else is doing. Oh, the labels and all that. No, I'm not. I'm just not. It's never been me because, like you said, a lot of that stuff wasn't created for us in mind. Michael Kors, he's a racist. Timberland, they was talking about what the tree meant on Timberland. It's supposed to be something. It's supposed to. It has something to do with racism, but I can't remember the exact story. But also Michael Jordan, he said he didn't make his tennis shoes for black people.
See, Michael Jordan wanted to market himself to the white people and get some of their money back. But like we gave them our money. Then why not make some shoes affordable? You see all of these black faces that look up to you. Why not make something for them kids that look up to you? Give them a chance, like somebody gave, you a chance to look out for you. I don't understand what he meant for that. Not unless he's saying that he got them overpriced so he can get some of that money from the white communities back.
I don't know. All I know is he did not. I did not make my shoes for the black people. I mean, regardless, for me, I'm not investing my money in people who don't like me. I mean, they're outright with it. They're okay with it. Why would I give my money back to you? In the same, I definitely, I'm not one who believe in living beyond my means. But in the same token, if I had it like that, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't. I don't. Why would I invest in them and they don't care for me? It makes no sense. But people gonna do what they do because today it's all about being flashy, having the best of everything. Baby, I'm fly every day, even if I got on 1099 tennis shoes. Yep. And I don't need to wear that name to do it.
Yep. So our people made a good quality. Look, and Aziz said we would never move forward until we get rid of our isms and schisms and change our mindset. I always say that you're just stinking thinking.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of effort on our part. Exactly. People, it's like, and what Nene say? Nene said, amen.
She said a couple things. She said, this is the never-ending story of injustice of the black, brown people in America. She also said, teach fam, wake up the people. Amen, amen, amen. And then Cassandra was confirming what I said. The Timberland, the tree means hanging. Louisa, she said, great day, ladies. She said, I agree. I wear what I think is cute, not what is marketed to me. Exactly. So I don't follow trend. I do what I do, and I'm happy with, no, I just can't see supporting somebody who doesn't even like you. That makes no sense.
And truth be told, we make some damn good clothes our own self. We make our own creations. Because I know my cousin would take and sew the hell out of some clothes. We used to do that. We used to make clothes for us and make fashion for us. That's what Black Fashion Week used to be about the fashions that we made for ourselves. So now what our counterparts do, they go grab up the black stylists and the artists and Paris Week and all of that and have you manufacturing and making clothes for them and putting their name tag on it, getting your creations and designs and putting their name tag on it and marking the price up. So that the clothes that you was making for your people, you can't even sell it to your people because it's too overpriced. Yeah. So that's the story of life. That's the story of a black people life in America. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and in the end, talking about the pardon, I'm sorry. I one thing I believe. Forgiveness is when I forgive people, it's for me, not for them per se. So my thing is stop giving pardons when it's too late. Because I don't pardon you, huh? I'm sorry.
But you're gonna be dead. The person they should have asked to pardon to was the people that they killed, and they can't because they're dead. They're dead. It's too late. It's like giving you flowers while you did. Give them to you while you living. Give me my pardon before you take my life. What good? Right. This is the topic of the show today. What good is the pardon coming 70 years later after you killed me? You done electrocuted me 70 years ago, and they're gonna say I'm sorry. They're gonna have Glenn Youngkin, who probably wasn't even alive back then, to say I'm sorry, pardon me, pardon them. Really? Is that what you really gonna say? Give them family some millions, pardon them with some millions. Say, you know what? For each surviving family, or go out and find the nearest relative to that family and say, pardon them with $1 million each.
They just want to cause. Like Molly said, I think they do that stuff to get a reaction from us. But the only reaction I'm gonna give them is you're a dumbass. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. And I'm not gonna feed into that. Yes, we are angry, but we're not gonna let you see that we're not gonna give you that much power where you anger us and expect a negative reaction. The reaction you're gonna get from me is fighting harder every day to make it better for my children and my grandchildren and the generation after them. So that negativity that they spewing, I ain't trying to hear none of that.
That's why you got to get your truth gear always on deck. Look,
I
you
don't know
got
who that
some
is,
of
though.
it that's wrong. If you got some of it in some t-shirts and sweatshirts wrong, make some dress shoes, some tennis shoes, some clothes, some everyday gear. Get truth in line so you can market it on all facets and not just the sportswear. Get it in line. You be at Fashion Week over there in Paris with the truth gear. But when you get up there, are you going to up your prices too? Are you going to outrageously price your clothes where we can't afford them? Because that's what happened. You start off saying it's the truth gear, but next thing you know, you're going to be FUBU. Is it for us, by us? You're going to up your price too. Where you was making $30 t-shirts, now that it's $120 to get one t-shirt.
I'm sorry, but even with that, and I support Black business, I don't have no problem with it. But baby, I'm not living above my means to support you either, because our people should understand that we have poor Black people who need clothes. That's why I kind of respect Shaq, because he made that shoe, and he didn't make it so expensive that our children couldn't wear his name. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care. I love my Black people, and when I can afford to support you, I definitely will. But I'm not paying $60 for no damn t-shirt. Do you know how many t-shirts I can get at Foreman Mill for $60? No way. It's not happening.
Wait, Bernice's t-shirt that's 60 yet. 30 maybe,
No,
but
I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking. I don't know anything of his line. I'm just saying we have people out here doing this $60 for a t-shirt. No, sir. You in the Black community, especially where I live at. You in Ward 8. What I look like? Yeah, I want to come to your boutique, but baby, I'm not paying $80 for no t-shirt. No. I mean, we have to be reasonable. We want all our people to be making it, and we know a lot of people are barely making it. It's taking 2 or 3 incomes to support one household. So how are we creating stuff for our people if we're outpricing them? Come on now, let's make it make sense.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. What is Louisa saying? I can't see it. It says
let me look. Louisa, our community is the only community that has not received reparations or a payoff. Every other community has received huge amounts of money for several governments around the world. Even the slave owners were paid for having to free their slaves, aka their livestock. Vaughn said, nope, I make it affordable to my Black folks. I can respect that. But there's so many out here who don't. So, baby, my thing is, I'm just, I come from a place where you got to make every penny count. So there's no way I'm going in there and spend a whole bunch of money in your cute boutique. But baby, no, sir. I'm sorry. It's just not feasible. It don't make sense to me.
What good is sorry? What good is a pardon when it comes 70 years
too late?
That was the question of the day. I'm going to leave y'all with that as y'all go about y'all day. Ponder that and ponder, see how you can get out there and patronize some Black business, help your own, lift your own up, and please try to motivate yourself, y'all, and try to change your stinking thinking. All the schisms and the isms. We got to remove ourselves from all that bullshit. That's it is. The schisms and the isms, or the isms and the schisms, as my cousin say, it's the isms and the schisms and all that. We got to stop that, y'all. 70 years from now, what's it going to look like? Our children going to be back in shackles again. They're taken away from their history. They're making them pledge allegiance to a flag. What do a 5-year-old know about pledging allegiance to the flag of the United States of America?
You know what's funny? Growing up, I never said the pledges of allegiance. My family never believed in it. So as they were standing, I was standing there and I wouldn't say a word. Pledging your allegiance, my allegiance belongs to God. That's it, baby. I've never done it. But
even that,
we need to get together and write some books for our children. Since they want to take it out of the schools, let's make our own.
Definitely, I have that on the roster.
Yeah,
to do that, and it's for my nieces and nephew, and great nieces and nephew, and my grandchildren. Because I won't be here to talk to them, but at least they had these pages in this book where they can say, "What was Auntie like? What was Grandma like?" It's something to leave behind, so they can leave behind for that something that's here. Because white people got it for their children. They leave stuff behind. So the people behind them know, even the community that we can't even mention got the diary of Anne Frank. You know, it's written down so they know what was going on. We need to have our stuff know what's going on and publicize in public as well.
Yeah.
You know, we need to do that for our children. Because 70 years from now, because they're changing the curriculum as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. They changing the curriculum now.
Right. So let's
gotta strike now while the iron's hot. Get stuff and put in place to protect ours, because Mr. Just Us is, trust me, it's just gonna be them.
Yeah. So time is out for delay. We got to make things happen today. So, you know, we got to come together as a people. Let's not. Everybody's trying to do their own thing, but your own thing ain't gonna help everybody. So, you know, it is what it is. We love you guys, and we thank you for tuning in and all your comments and all the love you give. We appreciate you. There's no way we couldn't.
Oh, wait a minute. Look, this is a great stocking stuffer. This book right here by A.M. Morning. Support Black businesses. Support Black, okay? Black and blue right here. Support that.
Those books will be available at the mental health event on Saturday. Be there or be square. From 2 to 6 p.m. Like I said, we're going to have open and candid conversations about mental health. And, you know, a lot of the stuff we're going through, it comes from past trauma and things. So let's talk about it. Let's begin healing. Let's come together as a people, not only Black people, but people, period. We all bleed the same blood. So let's go. Let's do this. Let's be there. Let's make it happen.
So until the next time.
We love you.
We love you. Until tomorrow, 24 hours. Y'all can hold out. R&B be back 24 hours. Y'all just, you know, chill out with that. Oh, tomorrow, Taco Tuesdays and Tequilas. I will be hosting your girl. The Gwen Factor will be out. So your girl, Reese Cup, right along with Michelle Pucciarelli. We're going to be in the house and the place to be. And we're going to be hosting that thing, holding it down. That's tomorrow, Bar 210. In Bryant's Road, Maryland, on 210, Bar 210, on 210 from 8 to 12. You mention my name, you get in free, y'all. Absolutely free if you mention my name. And you get a $5 taco and $5 margaritas. Just say Reese sent you to the bar, $5 taco margarita. Get in free if you mention my name.
Let's go. We love you. Be safe, family. Where's our boy?
Marley!
Marley! We waiting on you to come through. What you doing, Marley? Oh, shit. Woo, this is funny.
We're going to get you, Marley. But it's okay because I don't have the commercial to run, but I can end the show. We got to do our own commercial, Bernice. Ding, ding, ding. Dun, dun, dun. What's the book? Dun, dun, dun. Dun,
girl,
dun, dun.
until next time, R&B, we are out. Love you.